This is Dave Belsky. I am your host of the Talent and Cannabis Sunset Session, brought to you by FlowerHire. Back by popular demand. You guys spoke and we listened. We have part deux, Carlos Los Arias from Green Horizons. Thank you for coming in.
My man.
Great to see you again.
It's great to see you. Thank you for having me back.
No problem. I feel like, the world has changed a lot out there since we last spoke. Probably, 12 months ago now?
Yeah, about 12 months, man.
Wow. A lot's happened in the last 12 months, and a lot's happened in the cannabis world in the last 12 months. And so when we spoke last time, we talked a lot about plant-based medicine and your connection to plant-based medicine. And if you haven't seen part one, you should watch part one because it is fantastic. We also talked about Green Horizons and the vision for what you were trying to build in California as a platform. And now I think we're at the point where construction is less than 60 days out and it's go time.
It's go time.
So do you want to remind people like what Green Horizons is and we'll maybe start with that.
Thank you, David. Yes, and a year ago when we were here together, we were under construction on our first phase, which is about 100,000 square feet of high-tech automated light deprivation greenhouse. And notwithstanding the global supply chain, everything and all the challenges, we got it done. And that's really a testament to my partner and co-founder Michael Mead, who is an all-star developer and has been in the Palm Springs, Coachella area for many years. And we'll also begin construction on our phase 2, which will bring on an additional 125,000 square feet, corporate offices, distro, in-house capabilities of this kind, and some additional cultivation and brand incubator.
Wow, so it's happening.
We're here, man. This couldn't be more real, bro.
And I think it couldn't be more real. Is that really the ocean? It is. Whoa, are we really here?
We are. Actually, we could really go into that question. Are we?
I'm present. I am fully conscious in myself. I feel your brain and my brain's out here somewhere meeting in the middle. So yes, I am here.
Yeah, me too.
Well, fantastic. And you've had in California cannabis, some of the largest and first and some of the most unsuccessful sort of big large-scale cannabis greenhouses have been in the Palm Springs area.
Yeah.
You've had the benefit from learning. We talked last time about how you found like really the right city with different power and local water, and you weren't going to be so beholden onto the energy grid that was severely limiting other operators in that part of the state. Green Horizons, has always sort of had this philosophy of plant-based medicine really being at the core of what you're about, what you and your partners are about, and what you're trying to build a platform for out in the desert. And I think that message has resonated in a way with investors who are understand what's happening in California cannabis and are giving you access to the capital you need to fulfill your dream.
Yep.
And it will eventually really resonate with consumers and partners throughout the supply chain as well. But can you talk to me about like the vision for the culture and the ethos of what is going to be created out of your facility at Green Horizons?
Yes, thank you, David. Great question and great context. I mean, it's a high vibration universe for us. And it really does emanate from the founders. The last time I was here with you guys last July, I talked about, having overcome a health challenge, harnessing cannabis and other plant medicines. Same thing with my co-founder, Michael Mead. He beat leukemia by harnessing cannabis and other medicines. So for us, this project that we're doing, yes, it's a business, there's fundamentals, and we keep our eye on that very closely, but it's more than that. We're contributing back and giving back to the energy of plant medicine, which quite literally for both of us saved our lives. So, there's a little bit of an extra, fuel in the tank, in our day-to-day because of that. And I think people feel that, and we want to attract people into our ecosystem that share that energy, really. And I think it's about authenticity, it's about passion, it's about wanting to help people and help people feel good. And the pharmaceutical model is broken down. People have figured out that all the things that we've been programmed to chase, forever, they don't
may not be
work.
The truth.
yeah, you know. And now we're opening up to this other side, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. People can be heart-centered, you know, want to genuinely connect and still be business people and turn a profit. Yeah, it is possible. You don't have to be out there cutting people's throats. You know, that's the old energy. We want to marshal in something new.
Well, and that has been a very attractive message, and I think one of your investors and now partners, you know, I think that it was announced after last time we spoke, but it was like, wow. And obviously you take that specific partner and that specific investor and now team member to help build something unique culturally from that facility as from a brand perspective. You know, it's not surprising actually you're able to land that type of partner. Do you want to tell the audience?
Absolutely. And you know, we put this out in April, and our first and only press release that we've ever done. We've wanted to be very quiet last several years in putting this together, but we were fortunate enough to meet Tommy Hilfiger and his team, and they took a look at our project, put us through a lot of due diligence, you know, which was good, and is now a co-founder and a real day-to-day contributor, that entire team. And I gotta say, David, like, when obviously such a successful person, such a successful organization, and the humility,
globally recognized,
you know, everywhere,
entrepreneur, brand, and human being.
And you sit in the room with this person, with this man and his team, and it's like, man, they're just like you and me. There's no ego. They're rolling up their sleeves. They're getting into the modeling work. They're giving us, you know, advice on capital raising and this. I mean, it's awesome. It's exactly the kind of relationship that I would have hoped for. But, you know, oftentimes in sort of celebrity-laden relationships, you don't really get that. So it's been really refreshing, and I feel very blessed by that.
I mean, it's one thing to get somebody's name on a product or a business in cannabis, which doesn't always work out so well. There's another thing to have some real truth behind that in terms of operating and building the company and bringing resources to the table and also having that alignment culturally, because it's not like you've had every opportunity, and of course, over the course of time in cannabis, you could definitely tell stories about who the wrong partners are, right?
Yep. Everyone's got that story if you've been in it long enough. Yeah.
Everyone's got that story.
Or a couple of those stories.
But to find that right partner who aligned with your vision, but also provided that sort of value, operationally, strategically, in those resources and that history and that credibility, it's really, really great work.
Thank you, fam. Received. And we want to harness all of that goodwill and energy and put something really special into the world. I think we have a pretty compelling vision on brands and really harnessing the confluence of cannabis, sports, fashion, and doing it in a way that's interesting and also with global appeal. So we're thinking big. You know, we're taking one step at a time, of course, but, you know, with Tommy and team on the ticket, I think it's really emboldened us to be like, you know what, man, let's really think about this. You know, what can we do with this? And Coachella is also a global brand.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
this
is where our head is at. And, you know,
it's like young and old there too. Like, you know what I mean? In terms of there's a lot there to work with.
Agree.
And so, you know, I'm sure you can't talk about any things coming down the pipe in terms of trademarks and SKUs and brands, but I'm guessing there will be a full court sort of apparel, fashion, cultural relevance to go along with high quality products built with the consumer in mind.
Absolutely, yes. And you know,
you gonna swag me out here? Or?
We're gonna swag you out.
Got double XLs?
I got you, man. I got you. And you know, on the operational side of things, you know, buildings coming online, plants in the ground, exciting moment. On the brand side, later this year, and we'll be making a dedicated press release about this, but we are going to debut our first brand, which is an existing apparel brand that'll cross over as a cannabis CPG brand. And we're really excited about it. It's a new chapter for that brand. It's got some legacy to it. And we're excited about putting it into the world and being able to really connect with the community around it.
It's big things are coming.
You know, one day at a time, baby. We're doing it right.
One day at a time. Well, I know it's years of vision in the making, and it's great to hear about the progress and like being able to have the team that you've been able to establish at this point. And it's the right time. You know, it is a hard state right now for a lot of people that have worked in the industry for, you know, 10, 20 years or for 3, 4 years.
Right.
But it's the right time once you have the momentum to kind of seize and take advantage of that flux and stay focused on your vision.
100%.
And some of the biggest companies outside of cannabis in the world were created during those times.
Man,
right? Of like the companies that started in like 2001 or you know, 2000, first quarter 2009, right?
Yep.
And so it's just about right people, right place, right time, and you know, it's kind of that storm.
100%, and agree with all of that. And you know, the market where it's at today is also an opportunity. And our entire thesis and taking our time and sort of waiting for this moment and just also letting things come together organically and not forcing anything. You know, we're a low COGS operation at scale, but not for the sake of scale. There's a purpose to that, which for us is this compelling brand portfolio that we can build with Tommy and team. So, you know, just kind of easing into that a little bit at a time. And, you know, a lot of folks out there that are struggling right now, and we're very sensitive to that. And, you know, I've operated in California for many years, so I get it. But, you know, the shakeout of things and the scheme of things is probably a good, healthy, you know, sort of dynamic in a certain way. It's going to get us to the next stage as an industry, right? And it's going to require, I think, more collaboration, more community-minded mindset. And that's good, even though sometimes it comes at the, you know, with a bayonet pointed at your head. That makes you have to adjust and be nimble and maybe look at your competitors as colleagues first, which I think has been a big differentiator, at least for my experience of working in the industry. I'd rather have friends than enemies, man, and try to help lift people up. And I think we're starting to see more of that and less of sort of the, you know, right?
Yeah, well, the industry's evolved and people understand what they are and not what they're not a bit more. And if you're going to operate in this state with the amount of challenges and complexity to that, like you're probably not going to do all of it.
Right.
Like you're going to have to work with partners. And so the cutting to the bullshit and getting down to what it is you do, what you're good at, what you're looking for. I think people figured that pitch out within the California industry. And there's, you know, it is all about, you know, community in terms of moving it forward. And so I definitely hear what you're saying. And at the end of the day, it's hard when you're like going in one direction for years, putting everything you have into this, whether you're a founder, whether you're just a hustler working in a cannabis company, and you're forced to have to pivot.
Right.
You know, and you had your dreams in one direction and a vision for it, and that vision didn't happen. That's a time for personal reflection.
There you go.
And it's a time for people to really evaluate what they want to do, what their priorities are. But realize it could be a blessing. You know, it doesn't have to be negative. It could be a blessing because it leads you to the next thing.
100%.
And this industry isn't going anywhere. We're still in a baby stage. California, you know, FlowerHire does business we did business in 15 different states last quarter.
Wow.
Where a candidate, an executive that FlowerHire placed found a job in another state. Wow. But you know, California's still our number one market, right? And so it's you know, not it's not going anywhere, you know, and you know, and anyway, I think another thing I want to talk about with you is like, you're one of the bravest people that I've found really putting themselves out that relates to not just cannabis, but other forms of plant-based medicine.
Oh, thank you.
Because of your personal story, and it helped you fight off serious illness, and you've seen it benefit others, you know, and that's all part of your what gets you excited, you know, about the future is the opportunities there. You know, what else have you seen evolve in the last year as it relates to whether it's acceptance of plant-based medicine, whether it's like some of the stuff you're also working on in that lane outside of, you know, cannabis?
Yeah, it's all happening. It's converging. It's becoming one, which is exactly what it is at its core. And I think I was just in Miami at a conference, Psychedelics, speaking at that, and I thought it was so cool. There was a cannabis track, there was a psychedelic track. Same thing at Benzinga in Miami earlier this year. You know, it's happening, man. And, you know, just in time, right? The world needs this energy. And, you know, I think it's mainstreaming more in all the ways. I think the microdosing craze is here and it's real. People are discovering these medicines. And I think you're also seeing, I just saw the Michael Pollan documentary on Netflix. Fantastic. And, you know, people gotta, you know, you have to have access to the information, and it's been hidden from us for so long. now that it's there and it's accessible, it's opening hearts and minds. And then, you know, if I can play a role in helping somebody get to an actual experience so they can experience that, dude, there's nothing more fulfilling than watching that light bulb go on in another human being. It doesn't have to be somebody who's just struggling with an infirmity or something like this. It could be a perfectly well-functioning, healthy human being who's interested in growth and wanting to get in touch with himself. And
needs to find their why again.
You know, and these medicines help make that happen. So it's happening. We're here, and you know, I really see the future very bright because of that, man. Like truly.
Yeah, I mean that's. It's amazing to witness kind of the evolution. It's happening rapidly in that world. Just in terms of down to ballot initiatives as an example.
And students, if I may, at this Psychedelic conference that I referenced in Miami, so it was co-hosted by the FIU Psychedelics Club. Yeah, I graduated from FIU back in 2002. Now I'm letting everyone know how old I am. Dude, when I found out that conference was happening and that there was an FIU Psychedelics Club, if somebody would have told me that 20 years ago, no way. I would have never foreseen that. But here it is, and there's these 18, 19, 20-year-old students who have put all this together, and they're passionate, and they see this as a revolutionary force in culture, in awakening and shifting of collective consciousness. You know, students talk. I'm like, wow, there is hope for the future, man. I think our generation, we're clearing the way, but it's the one behind us that's going to come and take this over the finish line, right?
Right.
It's happening.
True. Oh, it's 100% true. No one wants to talk about that, but there's whatever is behind the Gen Y apocalypse that's coming into the world now. Wow, watch out, world.
Whoop.
Smartphones since the age of 5. Who knows what they're going to be,
Yes.
in terms of what world they want to see.
Yep.
Right, which is it. They're going to, create progress and evolve things even quicker. It's a great point. All right, since FlowerHire is a recruiting and executive search firm and HR advisory firm focused on cannabis, I got to ask.
Sure.
You got big hiring plans out there in the Coachella Valley. Can you talk to me about, what you're going to be looking for, and if someone's interested in a job, what should they do?
God bless. What we want, criteria number one is high vibration. We want people that are truly passionate and want to be a part of this industry and part of something special. So criteria number one. Everything else is, we have a lot of jobs, man. A lot of, in the cultivation side.
Across the spectrum.
Yes, sir. On the agriculture side, we're definitely going to need a lot of folks, and we have, thankfully, the Desert Valley has a lot of cannabis activity. So there's actually a pretty good talent pool to pull from, which is awesome. And we've been there for a long time, so we have relationships. We'll also be doing a job fair in Coachella, which is part of our commitment to really empowering the local community, hiring locally to the extent that it aligns, right? Yeah. And, Coachella has been an agricultural community for a long time, and they've had a lot of challenges. So we're very excited about being able to come in and to provide that, platform for people to be a part of. And then, working with FlowerHire, my man, guiding us on. I know you are, and yeah, I couldn't be more grateful.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Well, man, that goes without saying, but it's nice just to say it.
Well, round 2 has been a delight. We should have our annual check-ins.
This is it. Let's go.
Let's go, brother.
No, we did it again.
Right, man.
My man. Thank you,
you,
David.